Welcome to my series on Lake Louise. If you're new, allow me to provide a brief recap. I have 4 art mediums that I'm fairly comfortable with: pencil drawing, ink drawing, watercolor painting, and acrylic painting, and I wanted to put my skills with each of them to the test. I picked a reference photo of Lake Louise in Alberta, and I am attempting to paint and draw that photo in the 4 different mediums. This is the last one in the series, and let me tell you, it felt like it took a while to complete, for a couple of different reasons. One, I don't love the cleanup process of acrylics. And two, because it was difficult for me to work up the motivation to paint. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy painting, but I also like getting a project done in one sitting if possible, mostly because otherwise the paint dries out and it can be difficult to remix the exact shade I'm looking for if I need to come back to it. So I end up having to repaint sections that I otherwise wouldn't have needed to if I finished it in one sitting, or at least mostly finished it. And for this particular project, I knew I was going to need probably a 2-hour chunk of time, which can be difficult to come by on a given day. But to be completely fair to myself, I have had this painting done for a few weeks. I just wasn't sure what to say about it. So it got put on the back burner, and here we are, finally completing this project. When it comes to painting, acrylics are definitely more in my comfort zone than watercolors, but mostly because I've been painting with them since high school, which was longer ago than I care to admit. To be completely honest, though, the majority of my paintings come about by me following someone else's how-to video, so looking at a reference photo and composing my own painting from that is a little bit of new territory. It's not that I haven't done it before, it's more that several of the last times I've attempted to do so, the end product turned out looking quite juvenile, and so I haven't tried it all that much in recent years, mostly because I like when my projects turn out. While I do my best to be encouraging on the internet, I'm my own worst critic. So here we are, watching me actively fighting that tendency and attempting to compose my own painting without following someone else's instructions. I started this project feeling pretty confident. I liked how the color blocking was going, but then as soon as I started adding texture to the mountains, I began to question, do I actually know what I'm doing? So, as you can see, I took breaks from the mountains to go work on a different area of the painting to boost my confidence so I could go take on those mountains again. I'm actually pretty happy with how they turned out, even though it took me a bit of time to get them done. Another area that gave me a little bit of trouble was the tree line on the left. When I went to add the trees to it, I felt like they kind of blended into the mountain, which wasn't ideal. I know I could add some highlights to it to make them stand out a little bit more, and I did that a little bit when I was touching them up at the end, but in the moment I was feeling a little bit impatient and they just weren't coming out how I'd hoped. While it's still not perfect, I'm pretty happy with how it ended up. The other area that gave me some trouble was the reflection. I attempted a strategy, which, if I'm being perfectly honest, is probably not a top tier strategy when it comes to acrylic painting, but I did it anyways. I painted this lovely reflection here with the mountains, and then I decided I was going to water down a light blue color and attempt to paint over the reflected image that I just painted, hoping that it would just do a hint of blue over the top to create a shimmery, watery look. But it didn't. It just covered up the reflected image that I just painstakingly painted, which was a little bit disheartening. But I didn't give up. I jumped right back in and started on the reflection again. Go me! While this project gave me some more challenges than I had originally anticipated, I'm quite happy with the end product. In my mind, it doesn't look as juvenile as previous attempts, which is a huge win. I guess painting along with other videos helped me grow my skills a little bit. So, to conclude this series, what did I learn? Well, first off, if I don't have a deadline, I can struggle to complete things in a timely manner, but that's a problem to work on another time. But with regards to this project and the series as a whole, I learned that each medium has their strengths, and that I have different levels of strength with regards to each medium. I think my favorite one to complete was the pencil drawing, which wasn't exactly a surprise to me, but all in all, I was pleased with how each of them turned out, which was a little bit of a surprise to me. I wasn't sure if my skills with each of these mediums lent themselves to creating a landscape, but I was pleasantly surprised. One of the bigger things that I learned while completing this series, though, was that I need to continue to work with each of these mediums because the more I work with each of them, the more confident I am in the creating process and in my ability to fix my mistakes. I hope that's something you can take away from these videos too. Continue to create. in whatever form it is, because the more you do it, the more confident you'll get at it. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this series. I'll see you next time.